I want to talk about Bitcoin versus Ethereum. It's a lot of talk in the news about Bitcoin. My theory is that Bitcoin is like MySpace. It was the leader and then it lost. My main reason for believing this is something that is hard to explain and probably hard for you to understand if you're new to crypto. It's also something that Bitcoin people think is not even an argument. And that is that the monetary policy and the security of Ethereum is superior to Bitcoin's. This is something that a lot of people just think is not possible. A lot of people think Ethereum is better. And I'll talk about these other points because it's a platform, because it's programmable, because you can do so much more with it. But they say, but that it's not as secure and its monetary policy is not as good. And that is the most important thing. And that's why people want to stick with Bitcoin. But even that point goes to Ethereum. Let me explain. Bitcoin's monetary policy is relatively well known, that there will eventually be 21 million coins. They're issuing so much. Every block that's closed, miners are rewarded with Bitcoins. And then every 4 years, the amount of Bitcoins rewarded gets cut in half. Eventually, it goes to zero, and there's just a fixed amount of Bitcoins. So the security model is the miners, the computers that process the transactions are called miners. They process the transactions because they're paid in Bitcoin. And that's working fine, and it's working fine now. It's going to continue to be working fine. I'm not saying Bitcoin is going away. I'm not saying Bitcoin is horrible. In this bull run, I believe Ethereum goes up more than Bitcoin. It did in 2020. I think it will in 2021. But I don't know. Maybe Bitcoin does better in this bull run. But the point is, in the long run, how does Bitcoin secure its network when there's no more Bitcoin being issued, right? When they reach the 21 million, they're not minting any new Bitcoin. How do they pay the miners? They say, well, they'll pay them based on, it'll just be transaction fees. You know, first of all, transaction fees for what? You can't do anything on Bitcoin. It's just this store of value. You just hold it. And who wants to pay high fees? Now, by the time we get there, the fee market, Ethereum is already earning more in fees than Bitcoin. And the other thing is, this is crypto. This is, money backed by math. Ethereum's monetary policy was developed over years of study and math proofs, and I'll get to how it works. But Bitcoin, if your theory is, well, they'll get enough money in fees, that's not a math proof, right? What is that? It's a hope. Maybe it works, but that's not as good. That is not as secure. Now, what Ethereum has, there's two parts to the model. They do print new tokens, so there's not a fixed amount. And people say, oh, there's going to be all this crazy inflation. There isn't. There is, although there's not a hard cap of supply, the supply is regulated to secure the network. And, we'll see what it ends up being. Most likely, Ethereum is minting 1% new tokens every year, 1% of the total supply. There's an additional 1% a year. Could be less, could be a little more. It depends how many people stake their tokens in the proof of stake model to secure the network. So in this Ethereum's security model, they are people stake their tokens to provide the security. So instead of mining and solving random puzzles to prove you have a stake in the network on Bitcoin, people stake their tokens to prove they have a stake in the network. It's a hell of a lot more efficient. And then some new tokens will be minted to reward those people who secure the network. So security is guaranteed because, and you can go into the weeds with how it's set up and the math proofs and the research that's gone on for years with this. But where is the money going to come from to provide the computers that's, process the transactions? We know where it's coming from in Ethereum. And it's not because they're going to print millions of tokens. It's a very small issuance. But there's another piece to that puzzle. There's a proposal that should be implemented within a year. It's moving along nicely, called EIP, 1559, I believe. This proposal does a lot with making the gas fees on Ethereum more efficient and more affordable, but also it will burn Ethereum that is used to pay for transactions. So on one hand, Ethereum is issuing tokens to pay for security, and on the other hand, they're burning tokens that are used to pay transaction fees. So the usage of the network, more usage on the network, burns more Ethereum. And with that, it is possible that Ethereum could have negative overall issuance, right? So if proof of stake system pays it's not going to be miners, these stakers, to secure the network, issues 1% of new tokens a year, and there's a lot of activity on Ethereum like there is now, they burn 1% of the tokens through transaction fees, you have an effective 0% issuance. That's what would happen in that year if that's the way the numbers went. Some years they may issue a little more. Some years may have negative issuance. But the point is this. This is a monetary policy that we can trust. Remember, we're comparing ourselves to fiat. The United States government increased their issuance by like 30% this year. We're not talking about 1-2%. 30%. So worst case scenario, let's say Ethereum's printing 1% in order to secure the network. or 2% overall issuance. It's not like it's going to become the US dollar, okay? And it's not, Ethereum is decentralized. I guess, I don't want this video to go on for an hour, but, it's another topic of proving that Ethereum is decentralized. Well, look at the number of nodes. Same number of nodes on Ethereum as Bitcoin, approximately. In order to make a change, all the nodes have to upgrade. Vitalik Buterin is amazing. He's a genius. He is a great leader. But he can't make everybody do anything. He influences because he comes up with ideas and they're great. And everyone says, yeah, we like that. But if he said, hey, everyone, let's print a lot of inflation, no one would upgrade. It wouldn't go through. And so there's not going to be crazy issuance on Ethereum. So there is no issue on Ethereum of runaway inflation and printing tokens. And there is an issue in Bitcoin of not being sure about the security model, and we are sure in Ethereum. And so we have, with this security and issuance rate in Ethereum, ETH, Ether token is digital gold. I'm not saying Bitcoin's not, you can't look at Bitcoin like digital gold, you can, but you can also look at Ethereum like digital gold. But Ethereum is more than digital gold. It is also a capital asset. If you lock it up and you're a staker, you earn risk-free rewards. You're earning interest on your asset. And there's many other ways to earn interest as well. But Ethereum is not just gold. Ether is also a capital asset. It's also a consumable asset in the fees where it burns. It does a lot more than Bitcoin. And the Ethereum platform is this programmable platform where you can build applications. And what we're really talking about here in the future of finance is not just, Bitcoin is just it's just an asset. And it's a great asset, it's wonderful. But it's just one. Ethereum is a platform for the entire financial system. Trading, we're seeing amazing new applications and innovations on trading, how to trade assets, non-custodial, algorithmic, with amazing growth. I want to make a video about Uniswap. It's just one app on Ethereum that's really an incredible application. But there's also borrowing and lending applications. Again, new ways of doing it, using pools of money and an algorithm that sets the interest rate, and tremendous amounts of innovation. Margin, I guess that's part of borrowing and lending. There's insurance, gaming. I mean, everything, just people building so many things on top of Ethereum, that things that could never be done before on other networks. And even if someone builds something on Ethereum that could be done before, I mean, trading has been done before on other platforms, but now it can be done in a new way. So there's Ethereum is this platform that allows for so much innovation, especially in the financial world. This creates the activity and the transactions that will, the transaction fees and the usage drive and are the foundation to this security model mattering. Just some of the statistics, and you can look at it. I mean, the reality is, on my Twitter, my pinned tweet right now is this one about how, although Bitcoin has the highest market cap, Ethereum has the highest metrics on every measure. Other than market cap, Ethereum wins on everything. Whether it's number of users, number of transactions, amount of people are paying in transaction fees, number of developers, number of applications. There's no applications on Bitcoin. You can't build on Bitcoin. It's not even that someday they will build on Bitcoin or that it's harder. Nothing is being built on Bitcoin. And also, the thing about Bitcoin is, again, Bitcoin is decentralized, and I could send some to you without going through a third party. But the reality is, almost any time you want to do something with Bitcoin, you're going through centralized exchanges, and mostly more and more regulated exchanges. Whereas on Ethereum, you can go off and move. You can use Tornado Cash and make your tokens private so that no one can see where, their history, and then trade and borrow and lend and do all these things without touching the legacy financial system, without touching a centralized exchange or centralized institution, and without giving up custody. You always remain in control of your tokens, of your assets. And you can build applications. So the number of developers on Ethereum, there's more developers on Ethereum than probably all other crypto networks combined, and growing. And everybody's calling me right now. Can I please finish this video? So what was I saying? So the developers, and when you build on Ethereum, everything is open source. And so if you build a wallet and you just want to integrate a trading, an exchange in your wallet, you just go and you connect to a wallet. You don't need, with like Venmo, right, is an app here in America that feels like you're sending money to your friend, but it goes from you to Bank of America or whatever your bank is, and to their bank, and then to their app. But beyond that, when Venmo, whoever built Venmo, when they built it, they had to work with the banks. They had to get approvals and in crypto and Ethereum, you could just build an app without even talking to just all of the, in a sense, APIs. I don't know if that's the right term in crypto, but you can just connect. You could even copy the code of an exchange or of an application and stick it in your own application. You can integrate multiple applications and connect to them. So not only are there more developers on Ethereum, it is much easier and to develop on Ethereum. And the more that gets built and the more tools that are out there and free for everybody to use, the easier and easier it is to build more and more complex, advanced applications on Ethereum. The one thing Bitcoin has going for it, and this is a lead they have now, but is not, is, they have the brand name. First to market, and a lot of people that are new to crypto, it's hard to understand these things. I've been reading about this every single day for years now, and I come from a background of, internet entrepreneur and interest in finance and economics major. I come from a background that would make it easy for me to understand these things, or easier, and I've been studying every day. New people coming into this market, and I'm talking big, very smart people, but they're new. And they look at two things. Which one's the biggest? Who's the leader? And does it work? And it's Bitcoin. So like, okay, well, I want to bet on this. I'll just put it in that one. I get it. That makes sense. Bitcoin has the lead with a brand name and with institutional acceptance and with regulations. I mean, Ethereum's pretty regulated in that it's pretty, if an institution wants to invest, Ethereum, in most cases, is pretty clear that it's legal. There's probably some instances in some areas where Bitcoin is a little bit more clear, but Bitcoin has a lead with that sort of brand and institutional acceptance. So a lot of big money starts with Bitcoin, and that's the path that almost everybody takes. It's even the path that I took. I tweeted this and a few people were replying, yes, that's exactly what I did, which was first you buy Bitcoin, then you start looking around, then you buy Ethereum, then you start looking around, and then you get, I call it shitcoin fever. You just get into like, oh my God, look at this. I want to get that and try that and do this. And you buy a bunch of shit, and then you realize, okay, this is crazy. And you run back to Bitcoin, and then you settle down and you go, you know what? Ethereum is awesome, and go to Ethereum. That's the path that most of us seem to follow. Oh, and the path even before that path, when you first see Bitcoin, you think, this is stupid, and you ignore it. Then you come back, then you like Bitcoin, then you do that whole path. Very common, and I think we're going to see that also with the institutions. A lot of them, they're getting in Bitcoin now, and it doesn't take that long to get to Ethereum. The other thing with Ethereum is, it is better. And, I'm not, listen, I've done okay in life. I'm not a dummy, but I'm not as smart as, whatever. Chamath Palapatihaya. I can't remember how to pronounce his name. I love Chamath. Super smart guy. He's like, on one podcast, they asked him, what do you think of DeFi? He's like, I never heard of it. What do you think of Ethereum? I haven't heard him actually say, what do you think of Ethereum? He'd probably be like, I don't know. Whatever. I'm in Bitcoin. But at some point, Kathy Wood, too, loves Bitcoin. It won't take that long for these people to research and then understand Ethereum's superiority. For me, the best way to make money, I've learned, has been not in predicting the future. It is in finding things that exist today that are true that other people don't realize yet. So in other words, and Ethereum, this is one of them, okay? I'm not predicting that Ethereum will be better than Bitcoin. It is today. I don't have to predict it. It's true. It's a fact right now. And what I am, in a sense, if I'm making any prediction, it's that people will figure this out. And generally, the truth comes out in the long run. And that was my thing. That's why I did so well with Tesla. I remember I didn't have to predict. People were saying to Tesla, there's no demand, there's no supply. Oh, their batteries aren't that good. Like, okay, I'm not predicting that there will be supply. I'm not predicting that, people will want to buy the car. I'm not predicting that their batteries are in first place. They are today. This was in 2018. And so my only prediction was eventually people will realize the truth. They did. Same thing with Ethereum. So I love this as a bet where I don't even feel, it doesn't feel as speculative. I mean, you're speculating because you're in crypto and, I just read this article, which is true, and I've said this before. If the government attacks Tether, dollar peg token, that could be a disaster for the whole industry, or there's some other catastrophe in the world. Everything goes straight down. Bitcoin and Ethereum will go down. But if you're in the crypto market, Ethereum beating Bitcoin it's not a prediction. It's already happened. My prediction is that people will realize it's happened. Another reason people, the big money, smart people love Bitcoin is because in the last bear market, Bitcoin held its value better than all the other tokens. And that's a great indicator. Bitcoin was the reserve asset of crypto. And that's true. And I loved Ethereum in 2018, but I said run to Bitcoin, right? I didn't even think, because it was different then. I think that then, Ethereum was still a little speculative. I don't remember. You know what? I know why. Because I loved Ethereum, but at the same time, Bitcoin I loved, and they had Lightning Network. I had faith in Lightning Network that would work. It's not working. Lightning Network, forget it. It's not happening. So it did win. In this next bear market, we'll see what happens, but I think that Ethereum, and certainly, I think, so this would be me predicting, but the fact that Bitcoin outperformed in the last bear, I understand that point. I'm not so sure it'll happen in the next bear market. And it'll be interesting. The next bear market, though, there's a lot of places that you can go and hide in dollar peg tokens and various, there'll be many ways to invest in crypto assets on Ethereum that protect you during the bear market. And then all of that adds value to Ethereum. We'll see. But hopefully I will sell some at the top of all of this stuff. And when the crash comes, I will definitely hold some Ethereum through the crash. Not going to sell it all. That is for sure. Okay. I think that's all for now. This is a difficult topic to explain. Please put your comments, your questions below. For those of you who've made it all the way through, I should have said this at the beginning because I probably lost half of you after 5 minutes. But, let me know what points maybe were unclear, where you disagree, where you have further questions. I'd love to be able to explain this and talk about this topic better because it's important and it is confusing and it helps me learn. They say the best way to learn is to teach. So that's what I'm trying to do. So let me know your thoughts. Thank you.